Shalom, welcome to Technically Torah. I am Heath Hayes, and we are reading the Bible in a year. Today is day 21, I think, something like that. And it's Passover. So we are reading Exodus chapters 13, 14, and 15. So we're just going to dive right in. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Set apart to me all the firstborn, the one opening the womb among the children of Israel, among man and among beast, it is mine. And Moshe said to the people, Remember this day in which you went out of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery, for by strength of hand Yahweh brought you out of this place, and whatever is leavened shall not be eaten. Today you are going out in the new moon Abib, and it shall be when Yahweh brings you into the land of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, which he swore to your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this new moon. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day is a festival to Yahweh. Unleavened bread is to be eaten the 7 days, and whatever is leavened is not to be seen with you, and leaven is not to be seen with you within all your border. And you shall inform your son in that day, saying, It is because of what Yahweh did for me when I came up from Mitzrayim. And it shall be as a sign between you, the sign to you on your hand is a reminder between your eyes that the Torah of Yahweh is to be in your mouth. For with a strong hand Yahweh has brought you out of Mitzrayim. And you shall guard this law at its appointed time from year to year. And it shall be when Yahweh brings you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to you and your fathers, and gives it to you, that you shall give over to Yahweh every one opening the womb, and every firstborn that comes from your livestock, the males belong to Yahweh. But every firstborn of a donkey you do not ransom. You are to ransom with a lamb. And if you do not ransom it, then you shall break its neck. And every firstborn of man among your sons you are to ransom. It shall be when your son asks you in the time to come, saying, What is this? Then you shall say to him, By the strength of hand Yahweh brought us out of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. And it came to be when Pharaoh was too hardened to let us go, that Yahweh killed every firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I am slaughtering to Yahweh every male that opens the womb. But every firstborn of my sons I ransom. And it shall be as a sign on your hand, and as frontlets between your eyes, for by strength of hand Yahweh brought us out of Mitzrayim. And it came to be when Pharaoh let the people go, that did not lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines, though it was nearer, for Elohim said, Lest the people regret when they see fighting and return to Mitzrayim. So Elohim led the people around by the way of the wilderness of the Sea of Reeds, and the children of Israel went up in fives from the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe took the bones of Joseph with him, for he certainly made the children of Israel swear, saying, Elohim shall certainly visit you, and you shall bring my bones from here with you. Remember that. And they departed from Sukkot and camped in Etham at the edge of the wilderness, and Yahweh went before them by day in a column of cloud to lead the way, and by night a column of fire to give them light, so as to go by day and night. The column of cloud did not cease by day, nor the column by fire by night before the people. Chapter 14. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel that they turn and camp before Pi-hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, opposite Baal Zephon, camp before it by the sea. For Pharaoh shall say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, the wilderness has closed them in. And I shall strengthen the heart of Pharaoh, and he shall pursue them. But I am to be esteemed through Pharaoh, and over his army, and the Mitzrites shall know that I am Yahweh. And they did so. And it was reported to the sovereign of Mitzrayim that the people had fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants was turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? So he made his chariot ready and took his people with him. And he took 600 choice chariots, and all the chariots of Mitzrayim with officers over all of them. And Yahweh strengthened the heart of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and he pursued the children of Israel, but the children of Israel went out defiantly. And the Mitzrites pursued them, and all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, and the horsemen of his army, and overtook them, camping by the sea, beside Pi Hahiroth, before Baal Zephon. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes and saw the Mitzrites coming up after them, and they were greatly afraid. So the children of Israel cried out to Yahweh, and they said to Moshe, did you take us away to die in the wilderness, because there are no burial sites in Mitzrayim? What is this that you have done to us to bring us up out of Mitzrayim? Is this not the word that we spoke to you in Mitzrayim, saying, leave us alone and let us serve the Mitzrites? For it would have been better for us to serve the Mitzrites than to die in the wilderness. Boy, they started already. Moshe said to the people, do not be afraid. Stand still and see the deliverance of Yahweh, which he does for you today. For the Mitzrites whom you see today you are never to see again. Yahweh does fight for you, and you keep silent. And Yahweh said to Moshe, why do you cry to me? Speak to the children of Israel and let them go forward. And you lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, and let the children of Israel go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I am strengthening the hearts of the Mitzrites, and they shall follow them. And I am to be esteemed through Pharaoh and over all his army, his chariots and his horsemen. And the Mitzrites shall know that I am Yahweh, when I am esteemed through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. And the messenger of Elohim who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them, and the column of cloud went from before them and stood behind them, and came between the camp of the Mitzrites and the camp of Israel. And it was the cloud and the darkness, and it gave light by night, and the one did not come near the other all the night. And Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahweh caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right and on their left. And the Mitzrites pursued and went after them into the midst of the sea, all the horses of Pharaoh, his chariots and his horsemen. And it came to be in the morning watch that Yahweh looked down upon the army of the Mitzrites through the column of fire and through the cloud, and he brought the army of the Mitzrites into confusion. And he took off their chariot wheels, so that they drove them with difficulty. And the Mitzrites said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for Yahweh fights for them against the Mitzrites. Then Yahweh said to Moshe, stretch out your hand over the sea, and let the waters come back upon the Mitzrites, on their chariots and on their horsemen. And Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its usual flow at the break of day, with the Mitzrites fleeing into it. Thus Yahweh overthrew the Mitzrites in the midst of the sea. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, and all the army of Pharaoh came into the sea after them, and not even one was left of them. And the children of Israel walked on the dry ground in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right and on their left. Thus Yahweh saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Mitzrites. And Israel saw the Mitzrites dead on the seashore. And Israel saw the great work which Yahweh had done in the Mitzrayim. And the people feared Yahweh and believed Yahweh and his servant Moshe. All right, chapter 15. Then Moshe and the children of Israel sang a song to Yahweh and spoke, saying, I sing to Yahweh, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. Yah is my strength and song, and he has become my deliverance. He is my El, and I praise him, Elohim my Father, and I exalt him. Yahweh is a man of battle. Yahweh is his name, Exodus 15:3. Love that. He cast Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea, and his chosen officers are drowned in the sea of reeds. The depths covered them. They went down to the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, O Yahweh, has become great in power. Your right hand, O Yahweh, has crushed the enemy. And in the greatness of your excellence, you pulled down those who rose up against you. You sent forth your wrath. It consumed them like stubble. And with the wind of your nostrils, the waters were heaped up. The flood stood like a wall. The depths became stiff in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I pursue, I overtake, I divide the spoil. My being is satisfied on them. I draw out my sword, my hand destroys them. You did blow with your wind. The sea covered them, they sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who was like you, O Yahweh, among the mighty ones? Who was like you, great in set apartness, awesome in praises, working wonders? You stretch out your right hand, the earth swallowed them. In your loving commitment, you led the people whom you have redeemed. In your strength, you guided them to your set-apart dwelling. Peoples heard, they trembled, anguish gripped the inhabitants of Philistia. Then the chiefs of Edom were troubled. The mighty men of Moab trembling grips. All the inhabitants of Canaan melted. Fear and dread fell on them. By the greatness of your arm, they are as silent as stone. Until your people pass over, O Yahweh, until the people whom you have bought passed over. You bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance. In the place, O Yahweh, which you have made for your own dwelling, the set-apart place, O Yahweh, which your hands have prepared. Yahweh reigns forever and ever. For the horses of Pharaoh went with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea. And Yahweh brought back the waters of the sea upon them, and the children of Israel went on dry ground in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took the timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, Sing to Yahweh, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he is thrown into the sea. And Moshe brought Israel from the sea of reeds, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And when they came to Marah, and they were unable to drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter, so its name was called Marah. And the people grumbled against Moshe, saying, What are we to drink? Then he cried out to Yahweh, and Yahweh showed him a tree. And when he threw it into the waters were made sweet. And he made a law and right ruling for them, and there he tried them. And he said, If you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, and do what is right in his eyes, and shall listen to his commands, and shall guard his laws, I shall bring you none of the diseases I brought on the Mitzrites, for I am Yahweh who heals you. And they came to Elim, where there were 12 fountains of water and 70 palm trees, and they camped there by the waters. Shalom.